So Google Docs, that should be your 6th entry on your Google Doc or on your piece of paper. So again, just effort to get to know you all a little bit better. What's your favorite meal? It could be something family makes, something you get at a restaurant if your family, maybe they're not your cook. So whatever the situation is, though, what's your favorite meal? So me, one of my favorite go-tos, like the only time I usually go to restaurants is I like to go to restaurants when I can have something that I don't normally cook. Because it's like I always feel weird going to restaurants. It's like, oh, I could have just made this at home just as well or something. So when it comes to that, like I usually go, like sushi is kind of like my favorite thing that I get when I'm going out. But I'll try anything though. But anyway, so go ahead and fill that out. Just a couple of sentences. What's your favorite meal? Is it something your family makes? If it's from a restaurant, what restaurant? And then tomorrow we'll be turning in your warm-ups. Yeah, because you had 2 last week. Yeah, it should be your 6th one. And if you have any missing, you can look at the Google Doc or the Google Slide with me on Canvas and just check to see what you got missing. If you don't have an iPad and you're missing them, just let me know though. All right, so I'm gonna go on just a few of you, see what you guys said. Just kind of want to hear some of your voices. Try to call out people I haven't heard too much from. What'd you write down? What's your favorite meal?
Like pizza or like steak or something.
Pizza or steak? If you had to choose one or the other, which one would you go with? Like, you had two choices. What would you go with?
Probably like steak.
Yeah, I enjoy eating steak too. Do you ever cook it, or like something your parents cook usually?
Sometimes
Yeah. Anybody else say steak in here? One of those. All right. Let's see. Ebony, right? Did I say right? Okay. What do you get? What's that? Chicken strips. That would probably be my daughter's favorite choice too. She's always been her go-to. Let's see. Michelle? Burgers? Any kind of burger or just burgers in general? What's that? Oh, In-N-Out burgers? Yeah. I forgot, like, I've gone like this, like over the last 3 months, like, I've almost gone to In-N-Out like 10 times. But then I get to the line and like, nah, not worth it. I like it, but it's like, I can't sit in those lines for like, it takes like half an hour sometimes. It's like, nope. Alexis G. Tacos? Okay. What kind of tacos? Okay. I would say so. It's probably, well, I don't know. I like pretty much a lot, so. But anyways, all right. Anybody have anything like unusual or weird, like that's like, you know, like out of the like realm of like normalcy that they chose that they want to share? Or maybe you don't want to share because you're like afraid of being like, you know, ridiculed for it, but. You. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on then. Again, great job to most of you guys did a nice job getting your 3 paragraphs turned in. I would say definitely the vast majority of you got it turned in, so I appreciate that. But let me get it back to a couple of the people who turned in hard copies. Here, Naomi. Sorry, I'm still getting used to it. Anna Maria. Where's she at? Oh, she's not here. Seven. And then I did have one syllabus that, so if you turned in the syllabus, but you got a 0 on it, and you're like, I know I turned in that syllabus. I have one here where there wasn't a name on it, there was a signature for whose it was. So, anybody recognize this by any chance? Sorry, just want to make sure, because I want to make sure people get their credit for turning it in, and I know this is. You guys, I had that signature. You recognize the signature? No, no. Okay, well, I mean, there are a couple people absent, so I guess. But yeah, I couldn't recognize who this was. So if you think about it, let me know. All right, so the rest of class today is making sure that you have your rough draft finished up. So you should have a total of 5 paragraphs. So that basically means body paragraph 3 and your conclusion. Remember that a conclusion, and like I said, when we get to your first real big essay, we're gonna like go over strategies for introductions and conclusion paragraphs. This first essay, basically I just want to see like how you guys do with your writing, what kind of things I need to do to help you, because this is kind of like almost like a baseline test for you guys. It's not really a test, but, and I'm not going to grade this like, oh, you did a terrible job with your body paragraphs, you know, you're getting a C or anything. For the most part, this assignment is gonna be basically, did you do it? Did you complete it all the way? So if you have like parts that are missing, like you obviously have paragraphs that are missing, I would give it back to you and have you finish it. So make sure that you have 5 full paragraphs. But rough draft should be submitted by the end of class. If you guys need any help with anything, obviously just let me know if you're confused about anything. But the conclusion should just be telling me, like, again, reminding me what you were talking about in your paper, but also like making that connection to the reader themselves. So like, what I mean by that is like, your person has nothing to do with your reader, right? I don't know the person you're talking about, but like, what like message can you tell me? For example, like, so for my person was my great grandfather, and I talked to you guys about how he inspired me to travel and to learn about the world around me. So I would say something like, even if you didn't, this could be like my last sentence, right? So like, even if you don't have this person in your life who's inspired you to travel, or even if you haven't had the opportunity to travel, definitely make sure that you do it sometime in your life, because it's important to learn to see the world while you can, right? So, especially before COVID, that would have been a good lesson, because it's like now we are definitely a lot more limited to where we can and can't go. So, but anyway, so that's kind of how I would relate it to the reader, though, something like that. It's like, if there's a message that they taught you, how could that message translate to everyone else other than you also? But anyways, go ahead, work on this again. Like Devin, I know you're working on paper from day. I didn't get one from you. You were still working on it. You don't have to print it in. What's that? I finished it. Okay, just keep working on it today. You'll be good. I'll go ahead and update it though. But yeah, so just keep adding to it. But yeah, so by the end of it, you should have 5 paragraphs. Once I see that most of us are done, there's a couple of like formatting things that I'm going to show you before you guys are ready to submit. So don't like submit like right away. I know it says it should be submitted by the end of class, and it will be submitted by the end of class. But before you submit, I want to just show you guys a couple of things about like how to make it, how to format your essay properly. So anyway, do you guys have any questions before you guys start? Okay, go for it. know Syllabus. One was like, here's the thing I got to do. The second one, there's another copy. Third one was like, what were the overall, how did they, like, how did they actually change it? Yeah, for the third body paragraph, again, the first two were about like memories that you had with that person. Third one is like, what was important about them? How did they influence you, impact you? Whatever like verbiage or terminology you want to use is fine. But basically, again, ultimately, how did they change you? Hopefully for the better. you guys good? You have something you guys good? Okay, one thing really quick is I'm looking through your 3 paragraphs you guys turned in. Like I said, both of you did turn them in, that's great, and I'm really happy with that, but when you turn it in, there is a certain way you need to turn it in. You can't turn it in as a screenshot, okay? So there is another way, so I will go through that and show you guys how to turn it in like the correct way. Because when you turn it in as a PNG, or which is, like the screenshots usually, sometimes it says it's a JPEG too, but anyways, when you save it as an image file, it won't go through the system 100% correctly for especially for writing assignments. So I won't be able to leave like the type of feedback I normally do. So I will show you guys how to do it when we're getting ready to turn it in, just because I want to make sure that we turn it in. Basically, you're going to turn it in from Google Drive. So that's one of the options. So like I said, if you don't know how to do that, I'll show you. So just FYI, though, no screenshots for this kind of assignment. I'm not saying at all for any assignments, but when it comes to writing assignments, no screenshots. Everybody doing okay? How are we, where are we at? What paragraph are we on? Are we on 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? What number are we on? What number are you guys on? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Okay, all right. So just keep at it. We still got plenty of time. So we got about 20 minutes still, so just keep working at it. In about 10 minutes, I'm gonna go over formatting and again, how to turn it in from Google Drive as a screenshot. Did you talk to Sydney at all? What's that? Oh, okay. I'm not trying to get you out. I'm just asking if you talked to them though. I have no idea, honestly. I mean, potentially. Usually they prefer to try to if people want to make it upward. Usually they do it, but it's kind of up to the teacher. It also depends on how much room they have too. That's the other factor. So if he has a first period, for example, they also won't want to blow up your schedule because then it's if he doesn't have room in first period or even have a first period honors, then because I don't know, he also teaches an AP Capstone, which is a research class. So like I said, I have no idea what he teaches first period. So, but like I said, there's no harm in trying and asking, You shouldn't have to rewrite them right now. You just have to add those two paragraphs. You do have it on, just add it to the same time you have it. Yep. Yeah. Okay, do not rewrite it. You're good. What happens when it just puts your own? Oh, then yeah, I'll go ahead and look at that then. Thank you. You're good, thank you. we got about 18 minutes left, so I'm gonna go over, about 18. We get out for today. All right, so I'm gonna go over how to get your pages formatted, and obviously I'm on a computer, you guys are on iPad, so I will kind of explain the differences and like how to get to certain things. So first of all, your essay should always have, this is called a page header. So the page header is where you find your first and last name, the course name. So for you guys, obviously, be World Lit. The instructor's name, the teacher's name. So Williams for me. Again, if you don't know how to spell it, it's I guess that's up there too, but anyways. So your first and last name, World Lit, Williams, and then the date that it's due. So for your rough draft, it's due today. You always do the due date, not the day you started working on it. So for you guys, it'd be 26. So that's why this essay that I'm currently working on is due on the 29th on Sunday. So that's when I wrote my date. So make sure that you have that. Anyway, all right, so those 4 things you should have. The next thing you need to do too is you can like select all the text, but you need to make sure that it's double spaced. So when you go to double space, it should look like this. You don't have to hit enter between each line. That just becomes like a formatting nightmare. So on the computer, what you would do is you go to format, line spacing, and double. On your guys's, on the iPad, there will be like a little A with lines next to it at the top. And then I believe you go to paragraph. So see the A right there. Yeah, so go A and then go to paragraph. And then line spacing, take it from 1.15 to 2. Again, you might have to select all of the text in order for it to double space. Now, for longer papers, you'll notice I have subheaders for my paragraphs. I would say probably for the length of writing that we're going to be doing, you don't need to do that. So actually, like, there's for like your guys' essays, there shouldn't be a space between your guys' paragraphs. I know a lot of you like to have like an extra line in there, but that's not needed. So if you have that, just get rid of it. The beginning of your paragraph should be indented. So for you guys, for computers, you would just press tab. For iPads, I usually just say like 5 spaces on your keyboard. It is good. So make sure you guys are doing that. I'm not going to worry about a title for the rough draft. For your final draft, you should have one. And it shouldn't be like bio-narrative essay. It needs to have like an actual title. So like, again, for my travels with my great-grandfather, it could be like something like exploring the unknown or something like that. So again, don't worry about, if you don't have a title, don't freak out. Again, for the rough draft, for the final draft, we'll talk about like ideas for titles and stuff like that. Titles are generally the last thing usually you think of before you get into it. The other thing that you guys need to do is insert, or for the iPad, you're going to press the plus icon, and we're going to add the page header. And I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier. This part here with your name and all that, that's called the heading. Sorry, this is the page header. And that's going to be your last name. So I'll see if you guys can find it real quick. So press the plus icon. And then you're going to go find where it says header. It should say like header, footer or something. or no, never mind, I forgot, it says page number on the account, my bad, page number, so plus icon, page number, and then you're gonna click, it'll give you like 4 options on the spacing, you're gonna click on the very first one. And so you should see a number, and so it'll be like that, so you'll have the number, and before the number, you're gonna type your last name and hit a space. What that does, and you might only have 1 page probably, you might like have 1 or 2 pages with all 5 paragraphs now that it's double spaced. So if you scroll down to the next page, rather than typing it all out for each one, it'll automatically have the page number there. All right. Anybody need help getting this part figured out? Everybody's got this? If not, raise your hand and I'll help you out. Okay. So click on page number right there, and then you're gonna click on that first one. There you go. Now go ahead. Right before the one, type your, and that's it. All right. Anybody else need help figuring it out? That's the last time, so we need to do that heading, 4 lines up there. And then go down a space and type for lit. And another one down in Williams. Then one more down and then the date. So today's 26. And you guys will notice too, if you look at my date, that's in MLA formatting. So just like with the metric system, if you guys know what that is, centimeters, meters, milliliters, all that sort of stuff. America's kind of backwards. You know, the whole world does kilometers, we do miles, that sort of thing. Most of the world, when they do the date, it goes in order of smallest to biggest. Day, month, year. So if you ever see anything like internationally, like dates, it'll go 26 August 2021. So that's how you guys need to do it too, because when we do MLA formatting, it's supposed to be formatted as if like international readers are going to be looking at it. So always, that's why I always write the date like this. And you'll notice it doesn't have a comma. Normally you guys do August 26, comma, 2021. The only reason why you do the comma is because technically it's out of order. That's the reason why you have a comma in the first place there, because it's not in the correct order. So they put a comma there to show it's out of order. Anyways, you should have that, and then go ahead and press the plus, and then go to page number, and then the first little here, and then type your last name before the one. Okay, so we should be double spaced. We should have our page heading, which is these 4 lines up over here. We should have the page header, which is your last name and page number. And that's how we're going to format all of our essays. So whenever we do an essay, just make sure that that's automatic. Obviously, I'll remind you again. Okay, now when you go to turn into Canvas, and again, I'm aware that I am on computer, but still you guys are using the website, or at least I'm showing the website way to turn it in because I told you about my hatred of the app. So let me get the modules real quick. And always ignore period 3 and 4 because that's my student teachers class. All right, so we're a day behind, so that's why it's under Wednesday, not Thursday. Thursday I left open because I wasn't sure how much time we were going to need, so obviously they give us a little more time to finish. When you go to submit, you're going to click on Start Assignment, and you're going to go to Google Drive. Now, what I always suggest is when you are doing like a narrative essay, or if you are always type, make sure that you have a name for it. Even this part, I don't care if it's the name of the assignment, that's totally fine. But like when you like are doing your actual essay, that shouldn't be like the title on the page. But if you're just wanting to name your file narrative essay, that's fine. So that way when you go to search for it, so you go to Google Drive, there's 2 Google Drives for some reason, I don't know why, I always click on the first one though. You'll need a sign, you might have to sign in to your Google account. And then what I would do is just search like narrative essay, as long as you titled it that. If you decided to name it something else, and then you select whatever your essay is, attach file. Okay, and then usually, I don't know if it's because I'm in student view, but usually you just click on submit assignment right there. But once you've uploaded it, you should be able to submit it, so. Anyway. But that's how you would do it, so you submit from Google Drive, okay, so.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri, come spy on us, please. There you go. Any questions about how to turn it in or formatting questions? We got about 5 minutes. Sorry, yeah, I'm not gonna touch my cover. Yeah, go ahead and send it in today, and if you're done with it, if you're not done, you can send it in tomorrow morning. So if you want to add to it. Are you good? Okay, if you're not done, again, finish it, I can sign it. Because everybody else will technically have something next, so I don't want to penalize you guys, because it's not your fault, you don't have your iPads. Okay. If it used to be the first one. Okay. Okay, it might be the second Google Drive, so if it's not, if the first one isn't working, try the second Google Drive. Let me just make sure that, yeah, I think that's. So go ahead and search for it on there. Yeah, so not the first one, the second one, I don't know why, there's 2 of them, I don't know why is that the way that it's. Oh, yes, so you have to bring this. It's gonna be in the middle of the campus, it's like it's the big thing in the middle. Yeah. But you have to. Do you think that you were doing it? You do have to. Oh, okay, yeah, so yeah, you would just bring it to the library whenever you get the chance. No worries. You can't look at it. Are you new to the? Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't have enough to put all your stuff in directly to the power school because of that. Okay, do you access Remind yet? Just send it to me on Remind. Thank you. Today? Okay, yeah. Thank you. Did it work?
Let me like talk on.
Again, not your fault. Thank you for the other. Okay. I'm just gonna make it so I'm making the debate for tomorrow. We'll figure it out tomorrow morning in class why it's not committing. But yeah, thank you. That's all right. Okay. Morning.
Like a second level.
Hello. Sorry. Morning, everybody.